everybody. My name is Felipe Duenas, um, and I want to welcome everybody to this Wyzant getting ready for Spanish. And today we are going to cover beginners Spanish. So, for all of you that are going into Spanish for the first time in school, this is for you. Also, if you are here because you want to refresh some of the knowledge that you already have, you are welcome also to stay here with us. Um, I want you to inform that if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them into the QA questions, okay? And I'm gonna be answering them at the end of our session, all right? Okay, for the ones that is the first time you are coming or you are going to, well, I have a question here. Am I supposed to turn on my audio? Yes, you need to connect to your audio. Okay, Julie, you need to connect to audio if you want to hear me. I won't be able to hear you, okay? And I'm not gonna be able to see you, so you can type all your questions right there on the chat. All right? Okay. Well, during this session, we are gonna see a lot of stuff. Okay, we are gonna cover a lot of material. But don't be afraid, okay? We are summarizing a whole year of Spanish into around 30 minutes or 40 minutes, 45 minutes tops. So I'm gonna go fast. I'm gonna cover as much as I can. And just remember, please, everything that you're gonna be learning this year is setting up the foundation to continue. So everything that you learn, it has to stay here. Okay, I've seen many students that that come after they go to Spanish 2 or Spanish 3, and they understand what they are learning. They just forgot the basics. Okay, and those basics is what you're gonna be learning this school year. So it's very important that everything is clear and that you understand everything, and of course that you don't forget. All right, so let's start. I'm going to be sharing my screen. All right, and we are going to be seeing okay, we are here on Wyzant, on the Wyzant tool, on the whiteboard. The first thing that I want to review with all of us, or with all of you, is the basic vocabulary. Some of you may be completely new to Spanish, and you're gonna be learning these first few days of class. Some of you that have been doing Spanish for a while, or you may have a tutor before. All this vocab will sound familiar, okay? Things like greetings, okay, pretty basic. How to say goodbyes, okay? All these questions, the how are you, I'm good, I'm bad, more or less, okay, so, all those things. Making introductions, basic questions like what's your name, cómo te llamas, cómo se llama, me llamo Felipe. That would be the way to say it in Spanish, me llamo Felipe. All those are basic vocab, okay? And when I say basic, I really mean basic. So it's important that you remember this. And heads up with this. With vocab, there is not many things that we can do. As tutors or as teachers, vocab is something that you need to put here, okay? So whatever method you use to memorize that vocab is good. You may be using flashcards or apps, or like this list with the word in Spanish and the word in English. whatever helps you, whatever is good for you, do that. Okay, do that. But remember, if you use a book like the one I have here, at the end of every lesson, you will be presented with a chart like this with all the basic vocab that you need to know, and you really need to know. All right, so that's an important thing. Okay, let us continue with what I like to call gender and number agreement. Okay, that's something also very important that you're going to be learning this first year. It sounds a little fancy, but what it means is that basically every noun, every object in Spanish has a gender. It can be either masculine or feminine, and that happens with every noun. Okay. Now, most nouns that end with a letter O are masculine, like perro, that means dog, or niño, that means boy. Okay, they are both masculine. And most nouns that end with letter A are feminine, like casa, house, or niña, girl. All right? Now, that's the basic rule. Okay, there are many nouns that don't end in either or a. And for those, you will have to learn that's masculine or feminine thanks to the el or the la that you're gonna see in front of them when you learn that specific word. Okay, to say the in Spanish, we have 4 different words. It can be el, la, or los, or las, depending on if that specific object is masculine or feminine. For example, to say the boy in Spanish, we'll have to say el. Let me see, I can put this here, okay? Plus the word for boy, okay? To say the girl, we will have to use la, which means der, plus niña. La is for feminine nouns, all right? How about if we want to make it plural? Well, we also have to learn that to say the dogs, we will have to say perros with los delantes. Los means the dogs for masculine and plural nouns. And the last example, houses, which mean casas, is plural. So the will be las. Okay, this sounds a little confusing, especially if this is the first time you see this. Trust me, once you do a few more examples, once you do a couple of exercises, it's easy to see. Sometimes it's hard to remember, okay? Is this masculine or feminine? Some nouns that end with a letter A are masculine, like the word for planeta, for example, planet. It happens to be masculine, although it ends with the letter A, okay? So don't worry too much. The vocab that you are going to be seeing this year, your teacher will tell you this year it's expected that you make mistakes with this, okay? But just let me remind you that this is very, very important because it's going to follow you for the rest of your Spanish life, of your Spanish academic life. This is not going away. When you learn other stuff next year or the following, this is not going to go away. Sorry. So please remember. Now, there's another rule to create a plural. We add an S when the word ends with a vowel, like casa. Oh, and I forgot to put it here. Casa will go to casas, okay? Or we are going to put an ES when the word ends with a consonant, like hotel or hotel. We add an ES, okay, to create a plural. Now, very important rule also. That one is easier to remember. Now, what else? With the gender and number agreement, we need to remember that it also applies to the adjectives, okay? Adjectives are those words that we use to describe the nouns. Okay, to describe a table, we may say it's big or small or black or white. Those are the adjectives. And I have an example here, like for example, for blanco, which means white. Also, that word will be different depending of the noun that is modifying. Now, the word for casa, we will have to say la casa, their house. Right? When we want to say the White House, la casa blanca. You see how blanco will change to blanca for feminine? Now with perro, perro is masculine. So again, the dog, el perro blanco. Masculine noun, masculine adjective for a masculine noun. Same thing when it goes to plural. Okay? Casas blancas y perros blancos. Okay? As you can see, every time you want or you need to write a sentence, you will have to have into consideration this. Okay, I know it sounds a little confusing. English doesn't do this. Many languages do, okay, but English is now one of them. So that's why this can be a little hard to digest at the beginning for those of you whose mother tongue is English, okay? But again, examples will help, and you just need to keep trying, to keep remembering this. All right? Very nice. Another thing that is going to be very important to remember is ser and estar. You will see this at the beginning. And why is this important? Well, ser and estar in English means I am, you are, he is, we are, you are, and they are. All right? But in Spanish, to say I am, we may say yo soy or yo estoy. To say you are, you may say tú eres or tú estás. Or we are, you may say nosotros somos or nosotros estamos. Okay? The verb you use is going to depend on what is next, what is coming, what you are trying to say. I give you two examples here. Let's see if I can get them a little down. All right, so you can see them. In English, to say the dog is here and the dog is brown, you use exactly the same is right here. Okay? In Spanish, to say the dog, like I said, everything has a gender. The dog will be he. Okay? To say he is, we can say es or está. What is what? Why do we use one and not the other? Let's go to the next page. Okay? For example, we use a star to talk about a place. Okay? To say I am home or the car is here. All right? We will use the verb estar. So if we go back to for this sentence, the dog is here, we know how to say some of those things. For example, the will be el, perro, okay, perro is dog, masculine, so we put el. Now is will be, this is right here, we either es or está. Aquí means, here means aquí. Okay, it's a location. Therefore, since we are talking about a location, we will say el perro está aquí. Now, we will use ser to talk, for example, about these descriptions. Like to say the elephant is big, it's a description. All right, we will use ser. So we'll go back to our example here with the dog. We will be saying el perro es marrón, which means brown. All right. So For one sentence, when we are describing, we are using ser, es, right here. And for the other sentence, we are talking about a location, we are using está. El perro está aquí. Again, I teach this on a regular basis, okay? It takes a few classes, it takes a few tryings, it takes a few exercises to really comprehend this, all right? We just covered it in 5 minutes. I just want you to have that idea in mind, that to say, I am, we can do it 2 ways, yo soy or yo estoy. Which one to use depends of what are we talking about, okay? To say I'm happy, estoy alegre. But to say I am a teacher, we will say yo soy profesor. Profesora, like it says here, okay? Just keep that in mind, please. Just keep that in mind and you will be fine till you keep getting more exercise, all right? Another important thing that is coming this year is, all right, what happened here? Okay, is gustar. Gustar, we use gustar to talk about likes and dislikes, all right? I like to follow this formula. I like to see this sometimes, like this is a formula that you need to follow in order to create these sentences in Spanish. Now, for this particular thing, you say that, like here we say yo, tú, él, that means I, you, he, we, you plural and they. And I forgot to mention this vosotros thing is used in Spain. Some teachers make you learn it, others don't. Some school districts, they put an emphasis on that needs to be learned, others don't, so that will depend on your particular circumstances. But for gustar, we don't say I, yo, or tú, or él, okay? What we say is a mí, a ti, a él, that means to him, or a ella, to she, or a María, to María, okay? A nosotros, a vosotros, a ellos. Then if it's something that we don't like, we will include the no right here. Then depending on what we use, we need to use one of these pronouns, okay? A mí, me, o a ti, te, o a María, no, le. Depends on what you're gonna say. And then finally, we will say gusta or gustan, followed by the article or a singular noun or a verb, an action. Okay, we will use gustan plus los or las plus the plural noun talking about what we like. Let's see a few examples. All right, to say I like pizza. Let me open a text tool right here. Is this allowing me to do it? All right, well, let me try to write it down then. Okay, let me reload this session. All right, good. Okay, here we are. Okay, how do we say I like pizza? Let me put, okay. Messing with us, huh? Must be the sharing screen with Wyzant. Well, let me try one last time. Okay, I'm gonna try to write it down. Okay, to say I like pizza. Let's follow the formula. All right. So, if we want to say I like pizza, how will we say this? Well, we will go to I. Okay. We will go to I, a mí. Like, well, we will go to me because we are using a mí, me. Now, pizza is feminine. I mean, pizza is feminine, of course, but it's a singular noun. So, see, pizza will go here. A mí me gusta la pizza. Okay? A mí me gusta la pizza. Now, you don't like to run. Okay? You don't like to run. Run es correr in Spanish. We will go to the to form, a ti. Now, this is a negative thing. No te. To run is an action. So we will go te gusta correr. Whatever it is that we gusta to run or to walk, to speak, whatever action it is, me gusta. Okay, a ti no te gusta correr. How about Maria likes bananas? Bananas is a plural noun, so we are going to be using gustan. All right? A María le gustan, bananas is feminine, las bananas. Okay, if you follow this formula, you follow this chart, you shouldn't have a lot of troubles with gustar. All right, let's see what's next. Yes, I don't want to save it. Where I'm going to go is to the next thing. Two important verbs, to tener and ir, to have and to go. These are the conjugations for those verbs. Okay. Yo tengo, tú tienes, él, ella, usted tiene, nosotros tenemos, ellos tienen. All right. I put the English version of these pronouns here to help you out. It will take a while to familiarize yourself with them. But again, pretty basic. Please, please, please remember that you're going to be using these absolutely all the time. All right. This will be tener, to have. And now to go, ir, another very important verb. Yo voy, I go. Tú vas, you go. Él, ella va. He or she goes. Nosotros vamos. All right. Why are these so important? Why? They're a little special because thanks to these two verbs, you can create other expressions, just like in English, okay? With tener, we can create tener que, which means to have to do something. Okay, we can say I have a dog. And if you remember, to say I have, we'll go here, yo tengo. Okay? Yo tengo el perro. But now you want to say, I have to walk the dog. Okay, now you're not talking about something that you have, that you own. You're talking about something that you have to do. Then you will say again, yo tengo que, and then you will use an action, a verb. Pasear means to walk, el perro. Okay? This with tener plus que plus the verb will be to have to do something. That's why this expression is very important. And you're going to be using it in this first year of Spanish. Okay? Now, ir is used to talk about the future as well. Like we can say, I go to the supermarket. And if you remember to say, I go, yo voy. Okay? Yo voy al supermercado. I am going to buy food. That implies a future action. Okay? Yo voy a comprar comida. So going to do something in Spanish will be ir plus a plus the verb. These two expressions make these two verbs very special, very useful. And again, you are going to use them all the time. All right? Thank you. Let's continue. Now, this is the last thing we are going to see today. Another basic thing is the present tense, conjugation. What is conjugation? Many people never have seen this word. English has conjugations, all right, but not as many as other languages like Spanish do. They can be very confusing at the beginning, but again, don't be afraid. Just make sure you understand, and if you don't understand, keep asking your teacher. Practice, 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 and you will get to know this and how to know this really, really well. Okay. For what is a conjugation? Well, in English, we will say I eat pizza, you eat pizza, he eats pizza. Okay, you see that S right there? That is conjugation. That's the only time that this happens in English, is when we say he eats. All right? The verb changes a little bit. Well, that happens in Spanish with all the forms of the verb. Comer, we say to eat. To say I eat pizza, we will say yo como. Okay, we will remove the ER and we add an O. To say you eat pizza, you will remove the ER and you will add an ES. To say he eats, you will remove this ER and you will add an E. Yo como, tú comes, él come. Okay? There are three different kinds of verbs in Spanish. Okay, verbs for conjugational purposes. Okay, verbs that end in AR, like hablar or cocinar, to speak and to cook. Verbs that end in ER, like comer or beber, to eat or to drink. And verbs that end with IR, vivir, to live, or reír, to laugh. Okay, like I said, to conjugate, to talk about who is doing certain action, we will have to change the endings of these verbs. All right, according to this chart right here. Okay, for a verb ending in AR, we will say, we will remove the R and we'll put an O. And if you see, they all do the same. Okay, so for example, if we want to say, let me move this. You can say something like, yo como, okay, I eat, or yo vivo, I live. Okay, they all do the same thing. Now, if the verb ends with AR, the two forms will change to an AS or an A or amos, eyes, or an. Okay, you will remove this AR, you will add these endings. For verbs that end in ER, you will do almost the same. You're going to change the A for an E. All right, and that's it. And for IR, you're going to do almost the same as ER verbs. We are just changing the nosotros form and the vosotros form a little bit. All right? So again, I'm talking about this like it's something super simple to understand. Like, we all get it. Okay, as teachers, as tutors, I understand this is confusing. All right, and you need practice, you need exercises, and you are going to be provided with plenty of exercises to practice this till you feel comfortable doing it. Okay, that's for sure. Let me see if okay, I got a few more questions here. Okay, oh, that was a technical question. Okay, but it was solved. All right, very good, very good. Okay, let me continue then to the next and final thing. All right. So when we conjugate, we have other kind of verbs, and those verbs, okay, let me, don't save it, is what we call stem changing verbs. Okay, with the stem changing verbs, and this will be the last thing you see in school. This is the last thing you're gonna be seeing on Spanish 1. Okay, in order to do this well, you need to understand the conjugations really well. Okay, you need to, you're gonna be very familiar with all these endings. You're gonna familiarize yourself with them to a point that you're gonna just memorize it. Okay, you're gonna memorize this chart of all the practice you're gonna be doing. And then when you think you're out of the woods and you know everything that there is to know with this, then you will get the stem changing verbs. Okay, for the stem changing verbs, the endings will apply, these charts will apply. All right, but now something extra is gonna happen. In order to conjugate dormir, to sleep, we don't only have to change the IR, okay? We will have to change this O for a UE. You will say duermo, okay? In order to conjugate perder, to lose, we don't only have to change the ER for an O to say I lose something, okay? We'll have to change also this for an IE, pierdo. This is supposed to be an E right here, okay? And finally, in order to conjugate pedir, to ask for, to request, we will have to not only switch this IR for an O, to say I ask for, but also this E will change to an I, yo pido, okay? Like I said, this will be the last thing that you are going to be learning this year, okay? Okay, now it's letting us do. I cannot do it there, but I can do it here, okay? So it will be yo pierdo, okay? Excuse my handwriting, but I'm trying to do it without a mouse, so it's a little hard. This will be yo pido, okay? And finally, yo duermo, okay? Yo duermo, okay? We change the O, the IR for the O's, and we change these letters to a different combination of vowels, all right? Okay, so this is pretty much everything you're gonna be learning. You're gonna be learning this school year in Spanish. I know it's a lot. On top of this, with each lesson, you are going to learn vocab. You're gonna have like a main theme. Maybe it's about, when we talk about setting a star, por ejemplo, when you talk about ser, since ser is used to describe things, then you're gonna be learning a lot of vocabulary related to adjectives and how to describe people and how to describe things and stuff like that. When you talk about a star, you're gonna be learning about locations, probably things around school, like the cafeteria or the gym, how to say all those places, to say I am here or I'm not there, okay? Same thing, I mean, with gender and number agreement, that is not specific vocab. Like I said, you're gonna be doing this across everything, all right? To talk about gustar, say here, actions, you're gonna be learning verbs like sports, and all those daily activities like study and how to say to do homework or to watch TV or to listen to music, all right? You will be also learning about food and drinks, and so you can talk about what you like and what you don't like to eat, all right? What else do we have here? The basic vocab, like I said, all those greetings. With tener, they're gonna be talking about objects, again, actions, more actions, verbs are gonna be a big part of this, all right? Please remember it seems like a lot, I understand that, but you need to make an effort and try to remember everything that you can, not just to pass the Spanish 1, but also to apply that knowledge to Spanish 2, Spanish 3, because you are going to need it. Like I said at the beginning, some of my students that come to me through Wyzant, they may be in Spanish 2, Spanish 3. They understand what's happening there, but they have forgotten the gender and number, for example. Now, it seems that everything they write somehow is wrong, and they are losing points because they don't remember this, okay? Or they are losing points because they are using set and start incorrectly. And you are gonna use set and start absolutely all the time, okay? So that's why this is a foundation, and it's very important that you remember and that you do your best, as I'm sure that you are going to be doing. I want to thank we don't have any more questions. I want to thank everybody in attendance. Thank you for coming. I wish you the best on this coming school year. Good luck. And remember, Spanish is one of those things that if you learn, you can use it in the future. You can use it right now. You travel. This year is a little strange. We all are at home, but if in the future you get to travel to different Spanish-speaking countries, you can make friends. You can use it. Really, you can use it. And although it seems a little confusing, if you make the effort, you're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna enjoy learning Spanish, I'm sure. All right. So guys, if you don't have any more questions for me, that will be it. Hold on. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Now, my pleasure, guys. Thank you for coming. Thank you for attending. Good luck.